everyone, nice to see you. I know some of you have been doing my Pilates classes which I've put online, but I thought today that I'd put together a chair Pilates class for people that can't actually do a full mat class but would like to correct their posture, their core strength and a little bit of their mobility. So we're going to start the class today doing some basic exercises on the chair, and hopefully we'll do some more classes and progress as we go along. So we're going to start off with our chair posture. A lot of people, when they are sitting on the chair, don't realise that actually they're sitting in the wrong position. So we're going to go through that and enforce that through the class, just to make sure we're working in the correct alignment for our spine. So first of all, what I'm going to ask you to do is just to place your hands onto your knees for me. And then I'm going to ask everybody just to relax and let everything just drop forwards as we normally would sit. If you notice in this position, I have no core engagement here, my shoulders have dropped forwards, my arms are relaxed. But what we really want to do in chair Pilates is make sure we work with a nice, long, strong spine. So all I'm going to ask you to do is take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to pull that belly button towards the spine and just lift your chest there so you've got that nice, long, strong position. So I'm just going to turn that chair towards the side now so that you can see the correct position that we should be sitting in. And what I want you to be aware of when we're doing our correct posture is to make sure that the bottom of your back there can sit towards the chair, but if you notice the top of my back is just slightly away. And the reason we do this is if I was to sit back into the chair in a normal position, notice that everything just collapses through the middle, our spine is not in a nice long strong line. So we want to correct that by taking that deep breath in. As you breathe out, just pull that belly button in, lift that chest slightly and give yourself that nice, long, strong line. If you do find that is a little bit uncomfortable, obviously if you're new to it, you can relax slightly, but you want to try and keep hold of that core engagement the whole way through. So just to remind us again when we're checking our posture, hands on the knees. If we were to collapse and let them elbows go soft, that's the wrong position. Remember, we want to take a deep breath in. As we breathe out, just lift that chest, pull the belly button slightly towards the spine, and then that will give you that nice long strong arm here to have that correct spinal alignment. So now that we've got our correct posture, we're going to move into our breathing. So we're going to keep this nice long strong spine. Remember, we don't want to arch the back, we're just pulling the belly button slightly towards the spine here. And we're going to keep this nice strong position as we take our hands towards the side of the rib cage. Make sure you don't drop down like this and collapse again. Keep it up nice and strong. We're going to take a deep breath in. As you do that, you're going to pull the belly button towards the spine. And then as you breathe out here, try and keep hold of that core engagement by about 30%. We're going to do that again just to make sure we're doing it correctly. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out here, remember, keep hold of that core engagement by about 30% and try not to collapse down through the tummy. So we're going to move on to our mobilisation here to get going before we do our exercises. I'm going to ask you to just drop the arms down by the side, but again, remember, we're not sitting down into this position. We want to keep that belly button pulled in slightly, chest lifted and nice, long, strong back. So let's start off by mobilising the top part of our spine. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, turn your head towards the right. Make sure you keep them shoulders facing forwards. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, go round towards the left. We're thinking about that core engagement as we go back round towards the other side. And then one more time, we're going to come back here towards the left. This time, drop that chin down for me and circle. Keeping hold of this core engagement and that nice long strong spine, and then bring it all the way back round towards the left. Do try and think about that breathe in to prepare, breathe out as you circle, and then bring it all the way back round towards the left. One more here, we're going to bring that chin back towards the centre, dropping that chin down towards the chest. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, go up towards the ceiling, all the way back down again. Try not to lose that core engagement. Keep that nice, long, strong position. Go up towards the ceiling and then come back towards the centre. So we're going to move on to our shoulders here. So we're going to start off by just rolling them shoulders forwards, thinking about that core engagement, sitting up nice and tall, and then we're going to go back the other way. Set them shoulders down and away from the ears for me if you can. And whilst keeping that strong core engagement, we're going to start to lift up through the elbows. Just moving through them shoulders here to loosen them off, because we get very stiff and very tight in this area. 2 to go for me if you can. And then with the right arm first, we're going to bring the right arm forwards and then the left. Keeping that arm nice and long and strong. Thinking about that core engagement as we sit up nice and tall. Remember, no arched backs here. And then if you want to, you can go up into that nice, long, strong arm. We're going to keep our cheeks on the chair. We're going to breathe in to prepare, breathe out as you lift. Keeping that core engaged slightly, and then bring them arms back down. So going back to them shoulders again, just to make sure they're nice and loose. Giving me that nice circle through them shoulders. We're going to go back the other way, thinking about that core engagement, remember, and then start to lift up through them elbows again. Try not to arch the back. If you find that's uncomfortable, just keep them nice and low. You don't have to do any progressions you don't want to do, remember, in the class. It's entirely up to you. And then with the left arm first, we're going to bring that left arm forward, then the right. Nice, long, strong arm. This is mobilising the middle part of the spine, getting that moving as well. Remember, if you want to progress, you can take that arm up. You don't have to do that. Make sure you keep them cheeks on the chair, core slightly engaged. Breathe in to prepare, breathe out as you lift. One more on each side for me, and then bring them arms back down. So we're going to move into our waist and lower spine here. Remember to keep the cheeks on the chair for me. And if possible, we're going to take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, you're just going to slide that right arm down towards the floor, bringing this hand up the side of the rib cage, but making sure you've got that stability with the cheeks resting on the chair. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, come back up again for me. Let's try that again. Go all the way down towards the floor, just to where you feel comfortable. Sliding that hand up the side of the rib cage, and then come back down again. Let's go to the other side, making sure you've got that core stability, remember. Cheeks are resting, we're keeping ourselves nice and stable on that chair. All the way towards the floor, bringing that hand up a little bit higher if you can, just to get this stretch here through the waist, and then come back down. So we're going to move into the hips and the knees now to mobilise them before we get going. Myself, I just like to bring myself a little bit further forwards on the chair, because I can keep my core in a nice strong position. You don't have to do that, but it just gives you a little bit more range of movement here. So think about that posture again. Remember, the arms are by the side, the core's engaged, the chest is lifted. We're going to take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, you're going to lift the right knee towards the chest, and then lower back down as you breathe in. Breathing out, you're going to bring the left. Now remember, when we're doing these knee raises here, yes, we are mobilising the hips and knees, but we're trying to use the core muscles as well. So what we don't want to do is to bring the chest down towards the knee, so that we've lost that strong posture through the spine, and we're not actually using the core to bring the knee up. So try and keep that nice strong position and pull that knee towards you using that core engagement. Breathe in to prepare, breathe out as you lift. And then if you can, we're going to take that right leg up this time and hold. If you struggle to stay in this position, just let the foot rest towards the floor. But what I want you to do is try and extend it out nice and long. Remember, we're not doing this, we're sitting up nice and tall. And then if you can, we're going to go into the mobilisation through the ankles and then back the other way. Trying to loosen off them feet and ankles, and then release. So let's start with our left leg knee raise, keeping that core engaged. Breathe in to prepare, breathe out as you lift. Nice strong lifts here, keeping that chest lifted, using them core muscles, remember. If it does get too much, you can just take them legs lower. You don't have to do everything, remember. You know what you're capable of doing. If you can lift it up that little bit higher, great. And then if possible, we're going to take that left leg up and hold. If you struggle to keep this strong position, lower the foot towards the floor, extend the leg out nice and long, and give me that mobilisation through the ankles. What we don't want to do, remember, is to start to get tired and do this. We want to sit up nice and strong, go back the other way, and then release. So we're going to move into our exercises now. Please feel free to do as many as you feel capable of doing. You don't have to keep up with everything. Take a rest when you need to. You can always join in again a bit later. So remember, them arms are by the side, the core's slightly engaged and the chest is lifted. We've got that nice long strong position. If you do need to remind yourself of your posture, place your hands on your knees. Hopefully you've got that nice long strong arm. If you're sitting like this, we know it's incorrect. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, lift that chest, lengthen that arm nice and long, and let it drop down by the side. So we're going to start with them knee raises that we just did. Let's take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, lift up through the right leg, then the left for me. Think about that breathing. Remember, we breathe in to prepare, breathe out as we lift. We try and keep the core engaged and try not to do this. Remember, we don't want to curl from the spine. Nice and long and strong, so we're using them core muscles. And then we're going to learn some arms here and maybe put them together if you can. So the arms, we just rest onto our knees. Nice loose fist here if you can. And then we're going to take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, lift them arms up towards the side. Come back down again. Now I want you to pay particular attention to where my arms are placed, because what we want to try and do here is get that elbow up in line with the shoulder and the hand up in line with the elbow. And what I mean by that is, what we don't want to do is do this, so we're not actually working anything. We want to work this top part of the shoulder here, so we're going to lift them elbows up in line with the shoulders if we can. Now if you want to, we're going to put both of them together. If it is too much, do either the legs or the arms. It's entirely up to you. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, lift up through that knee and arm. Keeping that chest lifted, remember. Do think about that core engagement. Trying to bring that knee towards the chest. If the arms get too much, you can always take a rest. Or if you're struggling to lift that knee, just do the arms. It's entirely up to you. 2 to go, and then release. So we're going to move on to our next exercise, which is leg extension for the top part of our thigh. It works this major muscle down that front of the leg, but also the muscles that go across the knee to keep that in a nice strong position. So we've got our good posture, remember. Breathe in to prepare, breathe out as you lift that leg towards the front there, and then come back down again. You've got that core engaged. We're lengthening through that front of the thigh there to work that long muscle. And if you want to, you can bring the toes towards you just to get that stretch down the back of the leg. If that's too much for you, just keep the foot nice and relaxed. You know what you're capable of doing. And then we're going to learn the arms. So with this one, the arms, hands come to chest press. Keep the core engaged. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out as you extend. Breathe in as you come back. Breathe out as you lengthen forwards. Now we're not only using the chest here, but we're also stretching the upper back as well, which we really need to keep nice and mobile. So we're trying to push forwards to use the chest muscles, but also give ourselves that stretch through the upper back. And then if you want to, you can put them both together. Lengthen that leg forwards, pushing them hands forwards there. Trying to work legs and arms together just makes it that little bit harder, and also works on that coordination. If you get tired, take a rest. Otherwise, bring them arms back down. So we're going to stay with that exercise and put a little bit of a progression to it. It's entirely up to you. So we're going to take them hands towards the chest like we did before. Keep the shoulders lifted. Breathe in to prepare, breathe out as you extend there. Nice, long, strong arms, long, strong legs. Pulling that belly button towards the spine. And if you're finding it easy enough to do, you can start to take them arms up towards the ceiling. Sometimes people find it a little bit of a struggle to take it over the head. It can raise that heart rate just that little bit too much. So if you find that's doing too much there, you can go back to the chest. If not, you're going to stay here with me. Do 4 more. Nice long strong arm to work them shoulders. 2 to go. Cores engaged. And then release. So the 2 leg exercises we've just done, we're going to try and put them together and then hopefully learn some arms as well, just to bring in some coordination again. So we're going to start off with just the legs. Let's just check our postures again, make sure we've got that nice long strong line. And then if you can, we're going to go into a knee raise, leg extension, knee raise and lower. Notice that I haven't come forward like this with my chest. I've sat up nice and tall, bringing that knee towards the chest for me, using them core muscles, remember. And if it does get too much, please just take a rest. You do what you can. So it's knee raise, leg extension, knee raise and lower. 2 more if you can. Nice strong core there, remember. And then release. Let's move on to learning the arms, then hopefully we'll be able to put them together. So first of all, we've got the arms down by the side, hands facing forwards. I want you to just give me a loose hand there, just fist-like if you can. And then if possible, keep the elbows into the waist. We're going to start off with bicep curl, frontal push, come back to bicep, back towards the side. So we bicep up, keeping the elbows into the waist, chest press or frontal push forwards, come back into the bicep, and then lower. So up, forward, come back and lower. Noticing that I'm turning them hands as I do this so we get the correct position. And if you do find it easy enough to do, you can do bicep overhead, bicep and lower. It's entirely up to you, because when we put the legs with it, you may find that's a little bit too much. So give the chest press one a go first and see how you get on. 1 more here. Now let's put it together. So we've got bicep, front, come back, lower. Knee raise, extend, come back, lower. Elbows into the waist, core slightly engaged, chest lifted. And if you want to, you can progress to over the head. Remember, it's entirely up to you. But people do find that really does affect their posture there. So if you are finding it too difficult to stay in that correct posture, just keep it going towards the front. We've got 4 to go if you can. Take a rest if you need to. Bring them arms back in front if it gets too much there. We're trying to work them core muscles, remember. If you get tired, then just take a rest. And then finish. So we're going to move into a little bit more core work. I want you to sit right the way back in the chair so that the buttocks are sitting towards the chair, but hopefully that upper back is slightly away. Sitting right the way back here does make this exercise a little bit easier. Remember, if you want to, you can grab hold of the bottom of the chair. That gives you a little bit more stability. Think about that core engagement and keeping that posture in a good line. We're going to start off here with single legs. So breathe in to prepare, breathe out as you extend, breathe in as you lower, breathe out as you extend. Now, if you've sat all the way back in your chair, you will notice that it's easier to get them legs lifted without having to use too much core work. So if you do find it easy enough to do, we're going to try and progress here by doing 2 singles and then 2 double legs, okay? So we're going to put that together. So we've got 2 single legs. Keeping that posture strong, we're going to go into 2 doubles. Just let them heels touch towards the floor. We're going to do 2 singles and then 2 doubles, using that core engagement. So you're going to breathe in to prepare, breathe out as you lift there, breathe in again, breathe out as you lift, pulling that belly button towards the spine. Let's do that again, 2 singles. And we're using the front of the thighs here to work through them core muscles, but we're trying to keep that core engaged so we sit in that nice strong position as we extend them legs forwards. Now let's learn some arms and hopefully we'll put that together. So we've got 2 single arms, 2 double. Breathe in to prepare, breathe out as you lift. Just up to shoulder level if you can, keeping that chest lifted, core slightly engaged. Single arm, and then 2 doubles. Think about your breathing if you can. Breathe in to prepare, breathe out as you lift. Try not to make the mistake of leaning forwards there like this. Keep it up nice and strong. One more time with just the arms, and then we're going to put them both together if you can. It's entirely up to you. Are we ready? Leg and arm together, 2 singles, and then go into the doubles. Keep that core engaged. Sit right the way back in your chair there to make that a little bit easier for yourself. And remember, as you lift, pull that belly button towards the spine. Breathe in to prepare, breathe out as you lift. Pulling that belly button towards the spine. One more time for me if you can. Do the 2 doubles again. Then this time we're going to take them arms down by the side. Just lift the legs up if you can and go into the flutter. Keeping that core in a strong position, sitting up nice and tall. Trying to use them core muscles, but also at the top of the hips there. And then release. So we've been working a lot of our core, we've been using our legs and arms. Now we're going to try and open up the top part of our bodies. Because lots of people, when they sit on the chair for too long, or they're at a computer or watching the TV, we tend to do this. And when we do this, this gives us the wrong posture. I'm just going to show you what I mean by that. So what happens as we get older, naturally we'll go into this position. We can't help it, it's just gravity. What happens here is this bit starts to weaken, our shoulders drop forwards, and we then tend to get this bad posture. What we want to try and do is sit up nice and tall and open the chest here so we can stand nice and tall. But what actually happens when we go into this bad posture, the chest shortens and the upper back lengthens. So we want to try and correct that if possible by trying to work on our posture in our seated position and open up the chest here. A good exercise for that is called seated open door. I'm just going to show you how that goes. So we've thought about our posture when we're sitting here, remember? And then what we're going to try and do is keep this lifted as we take our arms up into a 90-degree angle. Now notice my elbow is in line with my shoulder and my hand is in line there with my elbow. And we want to keep this position as we keep our chest lifted. We're going to breathe in to prepare. As we breathe out, pull the belly button towards the spine and take them arms just to the side of the body there. You don't want to go too far so you arch the back, but we want to keep that nice, long, strong position so we can keep that belly button pulled in slightly. Breathing in, we're going to come back in towards the centre. Breathing out, we're going to take them arms out towards the side. This will give us our nice strong posture and try and correct that position so that we can pull our shoulders back and hopefully strengthen our chest that little bit more and also work on our upper backs as well. It is quite a hard exercise to do, so if you do get tired, please take a rest. If you can, try and keep them elbows at shoulder level and try not to take them arms too far behind the body. We're going to bring them arms back in here again and just give them a rest because they do get a little bit tired. Just give them a little roll here if you need to. And then we're going to move on to some leg work, our hip and pelvis here, just to give our shoulders a rest. So with this one, again, I tend to come slightly forward, but make sure you've still got the stability on your chair. We're going to use our core here, but what we're going to do is take a deep breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to lift the right knee, but we're going to just let our shoulders drop back very slightly. We've got that core engaged, and if you can, you're going to take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to give me the circle. Now, this is mobilising through the hip and pelvis. You may find it's a little bit tight. You may get a bit of a click there. If you want to take a rest, please do. Remember, breathe in to prepare, breathe out as you circle. If you're finding it a little bit too uncomfortable, make it a little bit smaller. One more, and then bring that leg back down. So we've sat back up into our posture. We're going to correct that again, and we're going to do our leg back in the other direction. So breathe in to prepare. As you breathe out, pull that belly button in, let that shoulder drop back. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, circle back the other way. Now you may find one side is easier than the other. If you are feeling that clicking sensation, please don't worry. It's just telling you it's a little bit tight. Obviously, if it's uncomfortable, do take a rest or make it a little bit smaller. One more for me if you can, and then release. So we're going to go back into that seated open door just to give them legs a rest. Remember, elbows are up in line with the shoulder, hand in line with the elbow. Breathe in to prepare, breathe out as you take them arms out to the side. Try not to take them too far behind so we arch the back. We're going to keep that core engaged, keep ourselves in that strong position. Take it to just where it feels comfortable. So you may find that just going out to here is enough. Don't put a strain on that back there so that you start to arch it. Try and open up through the chest if you can. 2 to go for me. 1 more if you can. If you've took a rest, that's absolutely fine. And then bring them arms back down. So remember, other leg as well. Got to work both sides nice and equal. Core's engaged. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, pull that belly button in, let that shoulder drop back. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, give me the circles here. Generally, you find that one side is definitely tighter. So if you've got that clicking sensation here, please don't worry. If it feels too uncomfortable, make it smaller. Take it lower towards the floor. Keep the core engaged if you can. 1 more. And then lower back down for me. Sit up and correct that posture again. If you need a breather, take it. If not, take that deep breath in. As you breathe out, pull the belly button in, sit back, and then go back the other way. Breathe in to prepare, breathe out as you circle. Remember, if you are struggling with this or it's putting too much of a strain on the core or lower back, please take a rest. Very good for mobilising through the hip and pelvis. 2 more if you can. 1 more there if you can for me. And then take a rest. So we're going to finish off here with just a little bit of spine work, just to make sure we're nice and mobile, because we're all getting a little bit stiff in our chairs. And we're just checking our posture before we do this. We've got them hands on the knees, we've got the belly button pulled in slightly, chest lifted. And then what I'm going to ask you to do is keep this position as you take your hand to a prayer-like position. Pop the thumbs just in between the chest bone there, and try not to, if you can help it, go into this position. Sit up nice and tall, and what I want you to think about is see how my fingertips are resting just under my chin. That has to stay there the whole time. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a moment, because lots of people make the mistake of thinking they're getting a better stretch because they're moving that head a little bit too far. So we're going to take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, we're just going to turn to the right and notice my chin is still just sitting above my fingertips. I'm feeling this possibly in my waist and my lower rib cage, and then breathing in, come back towards the centre. Breathe out again as you go towards the other side. Chin is over them fingertips, come back towards the centre. We're going to do that again if you can. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, fingertips underneath the chin. You may be able to move further on one side than the other, but a lot of times the people make the mistake, as they breathe out and go round towards the side, they let their chin go a little bit further, thinking they've got a stretch, but actually they've lost it because your fingertips are back here. Come back towards the centre, take a deep breath in again. As you breathe out, keep them cheeks on the chair. Feel that stretch around the waist and lower rib cage. Come back towards the centre, and then all the way towards the other side, and then back towards the centre. Now you can stick with this if you want to, or there's one more progression we're going to do on this today. Try and keep your posture in a strong position. Take the hands towards the temples. If you find doing this makes you do this, please feel free to stay in this position. If you can stay up in a nice strong position, take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, elbows open, turn towards the side, keep the cheeks on the chair. Breathing in, come back towards the centre. Breathing out, take it to the other side. Breathing in, back towards the centre. Breathing out, we'll go towards the other side. And then one more time to finish off this side to make it nice and equal. And then back towards the centre. So we're just going to finish off with a stretch here today. I hope some of them exercises have been valuable for you. Hopefully we can progress as we go into more classes. So just starting off here, we're going to take the arm across the body just to stretch them arms and shoulders. But what a lot of people do, if they make the mistake of when they bring their arm underneath here, the shoulder tends to go up. We want to keep the shoulder low, just pull on that fleshy part of the arm, and what it does is lengthen all around this area here in case we're holding a little bit of stress and tension, and then bring them arms back down again. Let's take the other arm across, hand underneath. Remember, we're not doing this, we're keeping the shoulder low. Keep the core engaged as you pull on that fleshy part of the arm. Hopefully you'll feel the stretch around this area, and then release. We're going to take our hands forwards up to chest level. If possible, this time we're going to drop the chin towards the chest. As we breathe out, we're going to pull the belly button in and give me a C curve through the spine so that we're getting that stretch through the upper back, and then we're going to sit back up again. Breathe in to prepare. As you breathe out, drop that chin, pull that belly button in, lengthen them arms forwards to get that stretch, and then sit back up again for me. We're going to drop the arms down by the side. We're going to stretch the back of the legs here. Again, if you do want to come forwards a little bit, it gives you a bigger range of movement, remember, but do make sure you feel stable on the chair. All I'm going to ask you to do is keep the belly button pulled in slightly and see if you can grab hold of underneath the thigh. Now, if possible, we're going to try and pull the knee towards us rather than us bring ourselves down towards the knee. We're going to sit up nice and tall and pull it in so that we get the stretch down the back of the leg. Hopefully you can do this nice and easy. If you are flexible enough and want to give it a go on the progression, you can just try and extend that leg up a little bit. It's entirely up to you, but we don't want to lose the posture. We want to stay up nice and tall. So let's try the other leg. Remember, just grabbing hold of that thigh is enough to give you a stretch. We want to stay in that strong position. If you can pull it towards you, great. If not, keep it down here nice and low. Bringing it up for me if you can. Keeping the chest lifted. If you want to try and progress, you're going to extend that leg and then release. We're going to come up to standing here to finish off with our stretches. But if you do struggle standing, please feel free to sit back on the chair there. You can do everything on the chair. You don't have to move. But we're going to have our feet hip width apart. We're going to take that deep breath in and bring our arms up towards the ceiling. Now, belly button pulled in slightly. We're going to lift the right arm up a little bit higher. Keep it there. Bring the left arm up to meet it. Now, open them fingers wide. They deserve a stretch as well. And then bring them arms back down again. Let's do that again. Take a deep breath in. Arms come up. Core's engaged. Left hand this time goes up. Right arm goes up to meet it. Open them fingers wide. Bring them arms down here for me. Give me that nice big circle. Give me a circle of the right shoulder and the left. Bring that right arm over if you can, just to make sure everything's nice and mobile. Then bring that right arm forwards and the left. Give yourself a clap. Well done. We're going to give them arms and feet a little shake just to wake them up. I really hope you enjoyed the class, and I really hope to see you again. Stay safe.